Hello?
Are you serious right now?
What?
It's hilarious.
I like to make an impression.
Apparently.
This thing is like currently cutting off. So if I pass out, you might have to like send EMS to do the jaws of life to get this off my head.
That can be done. That's terrifying.
These are also Ian's goggles, so that's the other fun part about this.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Yeah. There he is. All right.
Maybe.
We're connecting.
He's gonna see your head and be like, "What?"
Like that's the first time that's ever happened.
Somebody's ready to go.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, man.
Hey.
When's your race?
Stefan suggested I dress the part, and I'm really regretting listening to him. So, you know.
Hey, that's your fault for listening to Stostavi. So
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So I'm Jesse. That's MJ.
Hi.
Hello.
It's great to talk to you. We're obviously we're gonna video this and we'll throw it up online, and we're gonna, as you can tell, we're gonna keep it light and we're gonna keep it fun, and I'm gonna.
I was expecting the serious questions coming from you.
Okay. Oh, okay.
You really taking it? Okay.
So right now we're talking to Zach Harting, former U of L card swimmer, fresh from Tokyo, and also already willing to put up with our tomfoolery. So we're happy to have you on talking with us. So yeah, how was let's talk about Tokyo for a little bit. Obviously completely different than anybody expected. How was your overall experience?
My overall experience, I'd say, was very positive. My goal going into the games was when I left, have an experience and a memory that I'll have for the rest of my lifetime that I won't regret. And I'll be like, oh, well, I wish I did this in that race, or I wish I did that, or that could have gone my way. It's like, no, I want to be able to look back and to be a happy memory that I have and be able to enjoy that for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because making the team is hard enough as it is. And I'm like, I may not do it again, depending, like I could get injured and not be able to swim, or get sick at the next trials and just miss the team because I'm gone. So I made it that time, and I want to take the full advantage of that.
Yeah. I guess
that's a great attitude. Yeah.
Yeah. The question I've always had is, and I know it varies for sport to sport, but like, is there a window for like qualifying for the Olympics, or is it just as long as you can get in there and swim fast?
No, so that varies from sport to sport and country to country. Some countries, and definitely not as countries that aren't as deep as the US, all you have to do is make the time cut and the time standard. If you're faster than this time, boom, you get to go. But with the US and Russia, and I think Great Britain had a trials, Australia, they had a trials. The bigger, more deep teams, that qualifying time, then you have to have a trials, or either that and the top two get to go, or the governing body, ours is USA Swimming. So if we didn't have a trials, USA Swimming could just say like, all right, you and you are going to go. And basically they could just pick the team, which that's different people do it. Different countries do it different ways. But then some countries have their trials like a year before, or like in December. Ours as late as possible in like June, right? Yeah, June, and then I think that might even be the last day to qualify officially for the Olympics. So, but there is a qualifying period of about a year. So, and it was extended for COVID. So in 2019, technically, a lot of people were qualified for the Olympics, but since we were American, we had to go. We haven't made the team. So we were qualified for the games, but not on the Olympic team. So you had to lift that. Yeah. So it's kind of a complicated process, but yeah, you have, for us in America, trials is in June. The games are in about a month later. And
if I had to wait like a year before I found out, because I would be terrified to like walk outside. I would like, fall down and twist something, or, blow my shot way out before you got there. So maybe, some people one way, some people another, a little better.
Right. Yeah. Or some people that were injured, if you're injured then and like that's not what you want leading up to Tokyo, but if you get the extra year, then uh, that's better preparation. But
Yeah.
yeah, I when I get in the pool, I normally do a handstand off the blocks and then land feet first. And coaches hate when I do that, but I think it's but
Of course.
when I do it, I make sure no one's swimming into the wall, no one's at the wall, just and
Mhm.
like I make sure people aren't around that I could land on and injure them or myself. So I do the dumb stuff smart.
See,
Are you my child? Because
that's
this
what
is the
we
kind of
do.
stuff I get from him. What?
Again, I do the dumb stuff smart. That's what I try to tell people all the time. I'm the smartest dumb person I know. That's
Look, if you're
I
gonna do
knew what I
something,
was doing, Mom. Exactly.
if you're gonna do something reckless, you gotta think it through. Okay, I'm gonna do this and I'll land like this. I'll hit the water like this and
Mhm.
this. And if this goes wrong, then well, let's not have that happen.
No.
Oh my gosh, I'm having anxiety right now for you. Your poor parents.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Now,
great.
is
So
like, is swimming still fun for you? Like in general, like going to someone's pool, or is that still like?
Right.
oh that okay, yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, I just mean
Um,
in general. Like if you're gonna come over to like my house and swim, like is that still a fun thing for you?
so it used to not be. And my parents got a pool when I was in second grade. And once I started doing doubles and waking up at 4:21 a.m. was my alarm. And get in the water at 5:15, having to drive like 20, 25 minutes, and then coach all day for another 2 hours, and then go do my second practice for another 2 hours. I, on the weekends, I wanted nothing to do with the pool. Just want to stay inside, watch TV,
Mm.
not be outside. And my parents, there was one day my dad got really upset. He's like, "You're never out in the pool, never in the family fun time. Like, what's your problem?" I'm like, "No one wants to swim, but I want to swim. I'm swimming more than anybody here." But now it is more fun because now I like eat my parents. They have the pool still, and I'll go eat in the pool, or like I was just in the ocean.
Mhm.
So like having chips in the ocean is a lot more fun than having you take the trash out. You don't want to litter or anything, but
But yeah,
yeah, if you're eating in it,
But
it's a lot more fun.
I can understand. Well, that's like I was watching an interview during the Olympics of one of the women's water polo, the goalie, and she
Mhm.
said that. She said that's the dirty secret swimmers know is that swimmers don't like to swim. So, does anybody talk about that, or is that just
Well, look,
did you out somebody right
if I'm
now?
coming over to his house, I'm not bringing my cap and goggles.
because I have one for you. That's why you
Yeah,
don't
you
need to
got
bring.
it.
See, because I have them for you right here for you. See, that's why
I mean, Ninja Turtles, come on.
we're just gonna knock out a couple of a couple of 100 yards. There we go, and just then we have some claws, and then we're good.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. See, no, I'm just going to, if I'm going over to someone else's pool, it's just like a relaxed float, just like a, not to actually swim. Now, there are some days when you have to actually go swim, and then you just wake up and you're like, ooh, that's a no. But you got to go anyways. So, some
That's it.
go to practice. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, but yeah, I would imagine. I mean, it's a different thing, but at the same time, you're like, I just dried off. I'm sore. Like the chlorine is getting to me. Like, my skin to like. I got to go back out there? I get it.
no, no. And I would never go just float in our pool here because our pool is at training temperature, which is cold. So that's especially pleasant at well, we're at 7, but sometimes we've been in the water at 5:30 or 6, and that's just not. Imagine how warm and comfortable you are in your bed. Now imagine being wet and cold, and just an instant like transition between that is just not ideal. Not that I guess a slow one is good either, but yeah.
So
No.
no polar
That,
plunges for you, like.
I've done the ice baths. I'm good. I don't do that stupid thing. That's not smart.
I've done that. I'll agree. I'll agree. That was a it was a charity thing, but still it was not smart. It was not fun.
No, no.
Especially since I was wearing a Captain America Halloween costume with foam muscles. Well, because
Mm,
you can't just like do the polar plunge. You have to have a theme. And the foam muscles, like you know, they're sponges. And yeah, I
Yeah.
was about 30 pounds heavier on the way out. And
No,
then,
no, no. You get
yeah,
out and then take it off, and you have your Speedo underneath, and then that's how I would do that. Is just instant
yeah,
drop right into a hot tub. That would be the only way you could do that.
yeah. It's probably, I probably shouldn't mention that I'm wearing the Speedo too, but I'll stay seated for everybody's
Thank
benefit.
you. Thank you for that.
Oh, so you went to Tokyo. What was that like culturally for you to go? Because I know you guys didn't get to actually go out and experience, you know, Tokyo like you probably would have had this been a normal Olympics. But what was that culturally like for you?
So I've been to Tokyo and been able to go out a little bit and explore. And we went to Shibuya. I think that's Shibuya. That's where they filmed the crowded scene in Fast and Furious at the end where they drift through and like almost yeah. So we
Yeah,
went to that square and we're walking around. That was really cool. Um, but it was a lot. Everything in Tokyo, we were staying 30 minutes away from the venue, driving to a pool another 30 minutes away. And so every time you drove, it was you were in the city and you drove through the city to end up still in the city 30 minutes away. So it's just massive. But it was very clean. And something that I learned last summer with my grandpa was how to trim bushes. We trim bushes at my dad's house.
mhm.
And so like now I have the eye and like, oh, that bush needs to be trimmed, which uh,
Okay, so aside now, I've got this for you if you come over here, but now you can't come over here because all of my bushes need trim. Now that I know that you're going to be judgmental about it, so
so we were going on a run. We were training in August. I'm like, bushes trimmed. Those look good. Those need to be trimmed. But everything in Tokyo was trimmed and nice, except for like a couple weeds after it just rained. And I'm like, fair. But it looked beautiful.
Yes, fair.
But
I'll
like
let it
you
slide.
don't see that in America. You drive through an American city, you probably don't see a whole bunch of trees or shrubbery, and it's not like they're super well upkept. They're upkept, but not like they don't look perfect every day.
no.
And so that was something I saw. I was like, that's how clean the city looked. There was no trash, but there was also no trash cans. I don't know how that works, but that's just how it was.
Mm.
Um, but then everyone in Japan that I came into encounter with, like when you walk in the dining hall, they had all kinds of volunteers checking IDs and um, all the servers and the people taking your bag so that you didn't take because everyone that entered didn't have a billion bags just sprawled out everywhere and make a tripping hazard. And everyone was super nice. And every time you talk to someone or look at someone, there's always some sort of bow, whether it's just like a slight little head nod or it's like a full traditional thing that you think. And that like I don't know how the bowing works. I just tried to reciprocate like the respect thing, very respectful, very nice, very fun to talk to people. Whether they had good English or not, it was just fun to like try and be like, thank you, and try to be positive and like be appreciative of what they were doing. So always had a good time in Japan.
That's cool.
Well, so now what's next? Are you planning for it? Are you still training for the next thing like Kelsey was when we were talking to her before? Like, or do you get a little break now?
No, yeah. So I flew. I'll tell you my whole schedule. It's absolutely nuts because this is the first time I know anything past like a week from now. Is I can go like till December, which is a really big deal. So we left at the end of June. I came back on August 2nd. My home's here in Louisville, but I flew through Portland because my roommate here is from Portland. So him and his girlfriend, who both swam, uh, we visited them for a week. My girlfriend flew out. We all swimming together, so that was really fun. Then on Monday, we flew back here. Tuesday, we were in Huntsville, Alabama. By Wednesday, we were at Mobile on the beach until Saturday, where we drove back up here. And so I got home technically Saturday around 6 or 7 p.m. By this coming Sunday, today's Tuesday? Yeah, today's Tuesday. I leave on Sunday to go to Italy for until like end of October 1st. Then
Oh,
by November 10th, I'll be in, hopefully be able to be in not Amsterdam, the Netherlands. And then I may or may not be able to be in Abu Dhabi, and right before Christmas. And yeah, so I'm like all over the place. I'll probably
you're
spend
a
like,
globe trotter is what you are. That's crazy.
it's nuts. And it's just a lot of traveling, not being home, living out a suitcase. That's the
Mhm.
way to phrase that.
That's impressive. One thing Stefan did tell me, he goes, you have an interesting like claim to fame among other things, but he said, I don't know of any other person that has started a fan wave in 3 different countries.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I shouldn't say I don't like to brag about that, but I think it is a cool fact.
I mean, look at you being humble about it. I appreciate the humility.
Yeah, so I did one in Italy. So I think the Italian fans are expecting one of those. It's just so easy. I don't know if I started one in the US. One was it was in Tokyo, and I guess the other one was in the US. I don't remember. It was in the US. It was at Trials in 2016. Yeah.
You say it's easy, but there's nothing more embarrassing than being that one guy that tries to start a wave and everybody looks at you like you're stupid. That's like when you try to start a slow clap and nobody catches on. Like you are like the pariah of the stands. Like everybody now know who you are, and they pity you.
No, 'cause, you don't just go into this blind. Like I said, going back to you do dumb stuff smart. There's a way to do it. There's a technique that has to be executed. Otherwise, if you try to start a wave and no one bites, then like just leave.
So what's the secret? What's the technique?
Yeah, you gonna tell us?
You look around, like, hey, you grab like 3 people sitting next to you. Hey, let's start a wave. I'm gonna start a wave. You have to join in. And then it takes a little bit to get going. It's like a snowball on a hill. And you look either to your right or your left, and you're like, hey, we're gonna start a wave. And you go, ready? Oh, and you gotta like throw it to them.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
You can't just go up. You got to throw.
Technique.
It's like on the dance floor, and you realize.
Yep. No, but then you gotta get people's attention, because no one's gonna know. No one doesn't not want to do the wave at a sporting event. Like, who goes to a sporting event is like, oh yeah, we did the wave. That wasn't very fun. No.
Teenagers do that. Teenagers are the ones that are like, yeah, I'm not doing that. That's dumb.
You can't sit around teenagers then. Gotta go by the old people. Not too old though. Start a couple times. It goes further every time, and eventually people on the other side will see what's going on. So they only gotta do half. Once it gets to halfway, everyone else knows what's going on, and then you're set.
Yeah. I have some questions from some people on Facebook that they wanted me to ask you.
Okay.
Laura Humphrey wants to know, she says, first off, congratulations for making the team. How was the atmosphere in the pool without spectators other than the teammates and no family support? It seemed as if athletes from other countries are being more supportive to their competitors because of the lack of supporters. Did you notice that at all?
Yeah, I know a lot of people from different countries and have friends of 5+ years that I only see at big meets like that. And it's fun to see them, and I don't root against them. Obviously, I want to beat them if I'm racing them, but it's fun to go and be able to see and watch them race and support them. So I was never really rooting against anybody. I don't think anybody in the stands was. We were you just root more for your countrymen. But it was a little awkwardly quiet, and it was just like walking out. It just seemed empty. But outside of that, like, there was a good energy from the people that we did have in the stands in the US, and then just the entire globe, really, because it's all the other countries. But it's still like you walk out, the pool's still decorated for the Olympics, so you can't really use that as an excuse to not go fast.
So Laura wants to know, when you're done competing and come home, what's your go-to snack and meal before you have to buckle down and actually pay attention to what you eat again?
Buckle down. What did I eat? I love a good burger and a milkshake. Chili cheese fries are really good. There was one time all I wanted was a chili dog and a chili brat and chili cheese fries. That was it. What was the breakfast? They're not Pop-Tarts, they're the other toaster strudel. Those are good. Yeah.
Those are good.
Those, yeah. You gotta be careful on those. Yeah, anything like fatty that like you shouldn't eat a lot of at one time is my go-to. So I tried to gain 15 pounds or gain as much weight as I could in 3 weeks, just because I had 3 weeks off.
Yeah.
15 pounds. 4 weeks later, so I was all back off just because of how high my metabolism burns. But I know that makes people like, really? It's like, yeah.
Well,
But
train like you, and then we'll see. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of those. Yeah.
Like I'm at 5-6 hours a day for 3 weeks. It's hard to intake. The calorie intake is just, you can't hit that. But yeah, anything fatty that you're not supposed to eat is what I like to eat when I'm on off time.
Nice.
Otherwise, you got to moderate it. Only a handful of fries. Small milkshake. 1 scoop of ice cream.
Speaking of, wow, no, you can't just have one. Speaking of food, Rachel wants to know, and she says, this is a very important question. How do you like your steak?
Medium rare.
Okay, we can.
But you gotta season it right. You gotta do the steak right. You gotta season it the night before, or like the morning of, and then there's a lot of different ways to do it. But yeah, it's gotta be done right. I started becoming more of a foodie and cooking more because I figured with the amount that I eat, is I'll save a fortune at Qdoba. Still go to Qdoba, love Qdoba. It's just I don't know if I can afford to buy 2 entrees at one point in time. I just don't know if
I got 2 kids, and they probably both eat about half of what you eat, which is still saying a lot. So yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's waiting for me to retire. She's like, you don't understand. Like when you retire, your metabolism just drops, and like you don't understand how much you currently are eating. And so we've had that conversation a couple of times where I'm like, because I have no idea. I'm like, when I take a plate of pasta, I just kind of scoop it up till the bowl's full, add some sauce, good to go. Where other people like quarter of a bowl, half a bowl.
We're both dying inside right now. That's right.
I know. Yeah, it's worse than the mini muffin Pop-Tart dinner my teenager tried to have last night. Like it's just, it's not fair.
There's no protein.
It's not fair.
Some beef jerky or something.
You gotta have that. We got about 5 minutes left. MJ, you got anything you wanna ask before we go?
No, I think you covered all the bases, and I'm going to try that wave thing at the next football game. I'm gonna try and harass my neighbors into getting in on it. So
if you have your family and friends around, it's easy. See, I'm sitting with my team, so I'm like, hey, we're gonna start the wave. I'm like, okay. Someone told me, it's like, hey, start the wave. I'm like, all right, hey, we're starting the wave. Go. Especially if you get a whole section of US to start, then you do US and Canada, then it's US, Canada, and Brazil. Then it's gone. Like those are big teams right there. It's done.
Zach, I think this is like this could be extrapolated into maybe a world peace strategy, you know?
That's what I was thinking. Exactly. Everybody just do the wave.
Might be onto something.
I guarantee you they did not do the wave at whatever meeting they all get to. UN meetings, global peace conferences, no one does the wave.
I'm gonna get on that.
But I would bet against it.
You know, maybe that's why, you know, listen, People's Republic of whatever stand, I'm telling you, do the wave. It's part of, you want to keep your seat, you got to do the wave.
Tell me that when you're doing the wave, you don't feel connected to the guy on the other side of the stadium. It's like, hey, we're doing this thing together. All of us. It's bigger than us. We are making a movement here. It's like, you look at it, it's like, oh, that's very aesthetically pleasing to watch. It's like, oh, let me reciprocate that for the people on the other side. So now it's all come together. Maybe they should do the wave at those meetings.
When you hang up the towel, I think we found your next calling. You need to start a worldwide wave movement and for world peace. I think it's happened. I think team building, start small, work your way out to global. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, when we're paying you like $5,000 a pop to come into offices to do wave-based team building, we'll remember this. We'll be like, this is the moment that it started. This is when the synergy all happened. That's what it is.
All about working together to create something.
Yeah.
In this case, the wave.
All right. Well, thanks once again, Zach. Congratulations for all the success that you've had, all the success you're gonna have. And you know, we appreciate how well you represent the city of Louisville. I know you're not, you weren't originally born here, but you were a card. You still live here, and so thanks for making all of us look good, especially via the wave.
No problem. I'll do a wave in Italy for you guys.
Thank you. That's all I ask. All right, I'm gonna go try to squeeze my my swim cap back on.
Gotta go do your laps.